Hey guys, it's Chelsea from Little Mountain Ranch. Welcome back to my channel. I hope that this video finds you all doing well and staying healthy. Today I wanted to share with you some of my experiences with growing microgreens and with growing sprouts. The reason that I personally wanted to get into growing microgreens actually had to do with being able to get greens during the winter time. We live up in the north and we only have a really short growing season from May 20th until about the end of August, the beginning of September. That's basically the only time period that I can get fresh greens in our climate. So I really wanted to extend that out by growing microgreens. But one of the things that I've learned about experimenting with growing microgreens is that it actually requires quite a bit of financial input. You need to have grow lights. Unless you have a really good south-facing window, then you might be able to grow them in your window, but you need grow lights, a shelf, and you need some type of growing medium. And the thing that I learned about growing microgreens is that you cannot reuse the soil. You only use a really thin layer of soil when you're growing microgreens. So you're not using a ton of it, but that soil has all the roots in it. And if you try to replant in it, those roots will rot and therefore rot the roots of your new microgreen. So you actually need to compost that soil every time, which just doesn't really work financially for a lot of people. Sprouts, however, are a much cheaper option and they still taste excellent. I will say that the microgreens taste absolutely amazing and I really love the flavor of them. But this, I believe that sprouting is probably the best option for most people. So I'm just gonna show you how to actually do the sprouts. In my last video where I talked about doing greens and the importance of having greens or thinking about greens for your pantry, I did receive a lot of questions of how exactly you go about doing it. So I'm gonna show you how I do it. I do it a little bit differently than some people do, more because I'm interested in getting more greens on my actual sprouts than just the crunchy roots, which taste really, really good, but I want more of the nutrition of the greens. So I'll talk about that in just a second. So what you need to be able to do microgreens are a couple of mason jars, and honestly you could use just a glass cup if that's all that you had. You could even use a plastic container as long as it is clear so that the light can get through. You're going to need some kind of lid. You can use these little lids that you can get relatively inexpensively off of Amazon or your local health food store. I don't know how readily available they're going to be right now with everything sort of being in short supply, but you can also use cheesecloth, and I've done it both ways and it works well both ways. And all you need to do is to pour a couple of tablespoons, 1, 2, into your jar, and then add about an inch of water. And then let this sit for 6 to 12 hours. I'll usually start mine in the evening and then I'll drain off all of the water in the morning. When you drain off the water, you want to tip it on its side, and I'm gonna need a bowl so I can show you this, one sec. And then you're going to want to tip it on its side like this in a bowl and put it in a window. And twice a day, you're going to put a little bit of water in the top, swirl it around, and then drain it out, and then put it back in the bowl. Keep an eye on that you're not collecting water that's kind of going yucky in the bottom of your bowl, so just make sure you rinse out your bowl once a day. Stick it on its side, and within probably 48 hours, you will see active sprouts, and within 4 or 5 days, you'll see sprouts that you can actually eat. That's one of the other bonuses of doing this compared to the microgreens. The microgreens take several weeks to grow, and these only take about a week. Now, the extra step that I take in order to get a little bit of extra greens, and I've just been experimenting this and it works really well. I got these plastic containers actually for free with one of my grocery shops a couple of months ago, but I kind of use this as a little mini greenhouse. I stick my sprouts in here and then I put this in a sunny window. This has a vent in the top of it, and then I wait until the greens really start growing. And that actually only takes a couple of days to get the greens on the top, and then I just give them a rinse off and put them in the fridge. I have some smaller containers just like this one, and they'll last up to a week in the fridge. And the bonus of doing this is that you get more of the greens on top, which is what I want in my sprouts. I want to have the extra greens on the top. And really, as far as economics go, I've shared this with you before, but these little bags of seeds from Mums. This is, I know I sing the praises of these guys all the time, but I just love this company. It's a Canadian company. So at the time of filming this video, it is March 28th right now. You can still get these seeds from Mums. They do have a little bit of a delay just because they're a little bit back ordered, but I ordered some about a week ago and they were just shipped out day before yesterday. And a pack like this, these are organic non-GMO seeds, costs around $6, and for the average family, a pack this size would last a month. So it's a really economical option for getting greens. I don't want to get down on the microgreens. I just really think, especially during these times where people are trying to find economical ways to get food into their bodies, and especially nutritious food without having to go to the grocery store so much, I really just think that sprouts are a better option for most people than microgreens, just because of the infrastructure that's required for microgreens. I am going to be growing microgreens in the winter, but I've decided not to do any more and use my shelves for all my seed starting, which brings me to the second part of this video. I'm very excited to say that I have tomatoes that are starting to get their true leaves downstairs in my grow room. I have found that I do need more lights in my grow room, but I'm working with what I have right now and it's working well enough. It won't be long before I'll be able to put all of the seedlings that I have started downstairs outside of my greenhouse, and then they will have more than adequate light. Actually, over the last couple of days, we've got the beginning of the greenhouse all set up, and Kate actually made 750 soil blocks, which I was so grateful for. And so those are in the greenhouse ready to plant. I'm going to be planting all of my colder hardy plants out there, and I'll take you along with me as I do that because I kind of have a system that works really well in our northern climate to be able to start seeds outside this time of year. But what I'm going to be planting today, hey, do you guys want to see like a seed haul video and showing all the seeds that I'm going to be planting this year? I have a lot, way more than I normally do. And I don't know if any of you would find that interesting. If you would, let me know in the comment section down below and I will do that video next. What I'm going to be planting today are California Wonder peppers. I'm planting these now, whereas the other ones that I planted downstairs I did about a week and a half ago, because I now have an extra shelf because I don't have my microgreens on there. Otherwise I would have planted these a little bit earlier, but I have Red Bull's horn peppers, Manitoba bush tomatoes, and these are actually one that I'm going to be growing in my greenhouse, but I'm also going to try growing a few of these outside because I know one of my friends up in Alaska, Mindy from Life Goes North, she grew some of them outside and they actually did really well. I'm going to do a tomatillo and a couple of jalapenos. So I'm going to get those all planted out. I got these all filled with soil a little bit earlier this morning, and now I am going to get these all planted. I cannot tell you how good it is for my soul to be able to plant seeds this time of year. We actually ended up getting 6 inches of snow, if you can believe it, the other day. Fortunately, it has melted, but that was a little bit depressing and a little bit discouraging. But at least the temperatures are warm outside, so I can't really complain. Usually you want to start peppers at least 6, but 8 weeks is better. They take a long time to germinate and a long time to grow. So I'm a little late, but that's okay. I have some pretty exciting news on the greenhouse front. We actually found a large greenhouse frame. We've been shopping around for months. We like to try to buy as much as we can secondhand as possible. So we found a secondhand greenhouse frame, and it is 60 feet long, which is so exciting. So I am planting way more peppers than I normally do because I'm going to be able to grow them in there. It's very exciting to me because I get all of my peppers and my tomatoes from a garden south, 3 hours south of here. So I'm always having to travel to get my tomatoes. And being a gardener like I am, it just seems kind of criminal not to be able to grow my own. I do live in a zone 3B, so I really do need the greenhouse in order to be able to grow tomato, like the heat-loving plants. So I'm super excited about that. We won't be able to get it up until the ground thaws out enough for Dan to be able to get in with the tractor and level out the ground where we were wanting to put it. We're going to put it beside the garden in the hay field spot there. We have an area that doesn't grow hay super well. So that is beyond exciting to me. I have been wanting one for a very long time. and to finally be able to find one is just such an awesome thing. I did something a bit different with my seed order this year, and it worked out really well. As my brother-in-law and I went in on our seed order together. So we were able to buy stuff in bulk, and we were also just to be able to buy things where you're going to get, 10,000 seeds of something, but nobody needs 10,000 seeds. So then we split it. So it made my seed buying this year much easier because he actually did all the ordering and all the splitting for me, which I can't say thank you enough, Kyle. Thank you so much for doing that. That's just awesome. And labeled it all and then sent me a list of everything that was on it. And it was just a super convenient way. Maybe he won't want to do it again, but I definitely will. It was fantastic. And also, he does a lot of research into different plants, especially medicinal herbs and things that I don't have time to do. And so I ended up buying a whole bunch of things I probably never would have even known about before, thanks to him. Little baby tomatoes. Aren't they beautiful? Peppers are starting to come up over here. And these are basil, all these. More tomatoes and peppers. This is my little This is my little grow room setup here, and this is a 6-tier shelf, and it fits 4 of these flats on it. And as you can see, my little tomatoes are growing in there, and some of them have true leaves on them already, which is very exciting. This shelf is absolutely perfect, but I am going to need to get more lights. This would work a lot better if I had 2 sets of lights on each shelf, with which one of you mentioned when I first showed this setup, but this is all I can afford this year, so this is the way it's going to be. All of these seedlings will be going out to the greenhouse. Sorry, my furnace just kicked on back there. Within the next probably week or 2, and they'll get sufficient light when they get outside. I'm not that worried, like I mentioned upstairs, about them getting a little bit leggy. That's just where the stems, you can see on this one, start getting a little bit long, because I can actually bury this down all the way to the first set of true leaves when I pot them up later. So it's not going to be that big of a deal. But I am pretty happy with this, and this is a way better way to start my heat-loving plants than out in the greenhouse. I hope that you enjoyed this video, everyone. We're going to be getting into the full garden swing of things, so you can expect lots of gardening, farming kind of content. I'm really excited to share with you my next video because we do have a couple of new animals on the farm, and I'm excited to introduce them to you. I also want to share with you other ways to have a preparedness pantry even more secure than having a room full of food in your basement. So I'll talk to you about that in my next video. I look forward to seeing you again. And like I said, I hope that you are all doing well and you are staying safe and you're finding ways to be able to occupy your mind during this difficult time that we're all collectively going through. I look forward to seeing you in the next video, everyone. Bye.